Hello, brothers and sisters. Today we will continue our series on the 7 last plagues. Last week we looked at the first plague, and now we will look at the second and third. God bless you. The book of Revelation chapter 16 and verse 3 says, "And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea." First off, what does the blood of a dead man do? It coagulates, right? And the smell is horrid. Just imagine that in all the sea and oceans around the planet Earth, and that being the source to your water supply. Get this, the Egyptians experienced this on a much smaller scale. Let's look at the book of Exodus chapter 7 verses 17 through 21. "Thus saith the Lord, and this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe and drink of the water of the river. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, Take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so, as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants. And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood, and the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all of the land of Egypt." If we look closely at our planet today, we can see a foretaste of what this plague will be like. All around us, we can see the consequences of the toxic waste we have dumped into the delicate marine and freshwater systems of the world. Dangerous algae blooms and oceans and river systems are becoming more and more common. These blooms produce effects that are very similar to the second plague in Revelation. Blood red blooms of algae and microorganisms cause the death of millions of aquatic creatures by depriving them of the oxygen they need to survive. The algae and dead organisms then rot to form a blood-like sludge. However, even though humanity is producing enough pollution to duplicate this plague, when the second angel pours out his vial, it will be much worse than anything that humanity has managed to achieve. But get this, it isn't over yet. It won't just be in the seas and oceans that turn to blood. It will be in all of your drinking waters. Let's look at the third plague, shall we? Then the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters. They became blood. And I heard the angel of the water say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and wast and shalt be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. In this passage, while those who turned against God continue in their determination to shed the blood of those who love him, the waters turn to blood. But the promise for the people of God is that bread shall be given him, his waters shall be sure, according to the book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 16. Just as Elijah was taken care of in his calamity, so God will take care of his children in their calamity. The prophet Elijah serves as a type of the end-time people of God. Elijah did not see death, but was translated and taken to heaven. Similarly, those that receive the seal of God will also be translated without seeing death. Just as Elijah was persecuted by the church-state alliance of his day, so God's people will suffer a similar persecution at the end of time. God provided Elijah's needs, and God will also provide the needs of the faithful at the end of this great drama of rebellion against his government. It wasn't too long ago during the Dark Ages where the Roman Catholic Church murdered millions of God-fearing men, women, and children. Very shortly from now, they will try again. The book of Revelation chapter 17 verses 5 and 6 tells us that upon our forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. This allegiance of church and state union has not changed. God will put an end to it. He will say, okay, you thirst for the blood of my people, I'll give you blood to drink. God says that this time our bread and water shall be sure. If God can use a raven to bring food to Elijah, if he can bring forth water from a rock like he did for the Israelites in the wilderness, he can do the exact same thing for his faithful people during these plagues. Jesus is coming, friends. This is John Tinsley with Everlasting Rock Ministries, and always remember, the truth never fails. God bless you.